The West will pay dearly for lying and accusing Israel of genocide and pressuring Israel into not finishing the job. Western politicians have opened the doors of their nations to the Islamic barbarians, and the West will end up experiencing the pain that Israel has experienced when an October 7th times 1,000 comes to them. I absolutely stand by that. I know that to be true. I know that to be true. Because these people, they don't hide their intentions. They always have been, and they always will be, fully transparent and open about what they want, what they desire. Here's an example of that. They've never hid their intentions. Westerners are just too stupid to not believe them when they chant death to Israel and death to America. In this video, they say, defeating Israel means defeating the U.S. Defeating Israel means defeating Canada. All out in the open. Right here at the beginning, defeating Israel means defeating the U.S.
Defeating the U.S., defeating Israel means defeating Canada. This settlement who exists on the basis of the indigenous people and the black people. Defeating Israel means defeating this colonial institution.
And here's the Islamists just using the useful idiots of the left in order to, it's this red-green alliance, just to get that end goal of toppling the West. We're seeing it right now in New York City, where we're just weeks away, just a few weeks away from Zohran Mamdani being elected. And that's exactly what, I mean, Zohran Mamdani is, oh my gosh, like one of the most vile there is, of course. And what was posted just yesterday, and it's disgusting to see this transvestite, this transgender, and Zohran Mamdani is like there, smiling all about it, when the reality is he hates it. He's simply using it to topple the West. So we have James Woods, who says, Taqiyya in action, Taqiyya being the Islamic doctrine of lying, of lying and deception in order to ultimately gain your ultimate goal, and that's Islam conquering all things. Taqiyya in action. This slithery Muslim, Zohran Mamdani, there he is. He's a fraud, pretending he thinks this pathetic transvestite is so fabulous. Behind the smile, he wants to toss her off a roof. Yeah. Islamists are religiously trained to lie. If it serves to fulfill their end goal of Islam conquering the world, then literally anything is permitted by their satanic god. But here he is, Zohran Mamdani, right there on the threshold of being mayor of the most significant, most symbolic, most important city in the whole of the United States of America, smiling at this, and when you got this disgusting transvestite right here doing, this little spiel here, and there's Mamdani in the background. He's clapping and he's low. I think this is so great and this is so amazing. Ugh. It's just Taqiyya in action, is what it is. It's Taqiyya in action. And to conclude today's live stream, I have to bring it back to what we talked about in last live stream to close Friday's live stream. What are we doing? What are we doing with this Qatari, quote, partnership that's going on, where Pete Hegseth has made this agreement with the Trump administration, the Trump administration making an agreement with Qatar that we're going to be training Qatari fighters on our airbase, the Mountain Home Air Base in southern Idaho. And it's like, welcome to Mountain Home Air Base. Welcome home to the Muslim Brotherhood Air Force, sponsored by Qatar Terrorways. Obviously, it's an AI image, but it's like, what the actual hell are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't vote for this. I don't support this in any way. And they're like, well, we've for a long time we've had a partnership with Qatar, and we've trained their jet fighters, in the past. Well, if that's true, well then do it in Qatar. Don't do it here. We don't welcome these people into our land, thus normalizing it. No, we do not welcome this whatsoever. And we always remember what Qatar is. Amy Mack, who is with, she's the founder and editor-in-chief of RARE, the RARE Foundation. RARE Foundation, where she is dedicated to warning the West about the evils of Islam, is really what RARE is about. Never forget who they are. Pictured, this is Qatar's then emir, right down here. Here's the photo. Leader of Qatar years ago, and what is he doing? Standing side by side with one of the leaders of Hamas. Pictured, Qatar's then emir, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, proudly holding hands with Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, excuse me, some of these names, during a visit to Gaza's Islamic University, October 23 of 2012. That's not diplomacy. That's solidarity with terrorists. And now, this same regime, Hamas's chief financier and patron, is being rewarded by Washington with permission to open a Qatari Air Force facility on U.S. soil at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. 24 years after foreign nationals trained in our flight schools flew planes into our buildings, our leaders are inviting their funders to train inside our bases. Qatar didn't just write checks to Hamas, it built its empire, bankrolled jihad across the Middle East, and hid the 9/11 mastermind before the attacks. This photo says everything. Washington isn't partnering with allies. It's partnering with enablers of terror. Valentina Gomez, she gets this. She posted, "I did not pledge allegiance to the United States of Qatar," which we have now, President Trump has signed an executive order where we agree to go to war on behalf of Qatar if it is attacked. What? I didn't agree to that. I'm not going to go to war on behalf of Qatar. Qatar is evil. The king, the king of financial jihad. I did not pledge to this. I didn't agree to this. I did not pledge allegiance to the United States of Qatar. I don't want Qatari Muslims flying fighter jets over America. Islam is conquering the West while people are obsessed with the Jews. And once again, anyone out there that is obsessed with the Jews and pointing the finger at Israel, saying Israel is the problem, Israel is the enemy. No, you are the problem. You are the enemy. Israel never has been the problem and never will be the problem. These Muslim nations are the problem and always have been and always will be the problem. So Islam is conquering the West while people are obsessed with the Jews. 9/11 on October 7th will be like dress rehearsals compared to what's coming. Exactly. 100%, just as I said, that the West has a butt kicking coming. The West has an October 7th times 1,000 coming. Mark my words. It will happen. When? I don't know. Will it happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15? I don't know. But it will happen. Because the West, in its immorality and its stupidity, has sought to, quote, make peace with demons, make peace with devils, make peace with evil. And it's going to come back and bite us in the ass. Big time. So yeah, 9/11, October 7th will be like dress rehearsals compared to what's coming. Valentina Gomez, you got it. You got it figured out. I sincerely hope the people of Texas elect Valentina Gomez into Congress. She needs to be in Congress. Amy Mack talks about this. This is with RAR. Why hasn't the Muslim Brotherhood not yet been designated as a terrorist organization? Like, what are we doing? Why are we not? But President Donald Trump has served 1,726 days in the Oval Office, 1,462 during his first administration, and now 264 so far in his new term. Yet even with him back in office, the Muslim Brotherhood and CAIR still have not been designated as terrorist organizations. Congress has introduced bill after bill, from the Muslim Brotherhood Terrorist Designation Act to H.R. 4097, designate CARE as a terrorist organization act, but nothing has ever passed. Nothing's ever passed. Why? We've been talking about this for decades. The time for talk is over. Your political leaders have a choice. They are either for terror or against it. If they refuse to support these bills, you should start asking who's funding their silence. If we don't act now while President Trump is in office, we may never get this opportunity again. Demand your legislators take action, hold them accountable. America's security depends on it. 100%. And even Saudi Arabia, knows the danger of Qatar. And it's like, and I don't trust Saudi Arabia. Like, not at all. But when even they don't have relations with Qatar, that should tell you at least something. This was just a few days ago that Adel al-Huberi, he's the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he was asked why there was a, quote, falling away between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Why was there this, quote, falling away? And here was his answer. Really brilliant answer.
It's not a falling out. It's just we don't want to have anything to do with them. The Qataris, since the mid-90s, have been sponsoring radicals. They have been inciting people. They have become a base for the leadership for the Muslim Brotherhood. And the Muslim Brotherhood, you have to keep in mind, is what begot us Takfir and Hijrah, which begot us Al-Qaeda, which begot us Al-Nusra. The Qataris allow their senior religious clerics to go on television and justify suicide bombings. That's not acceptable. The Qataris harbor and shelter terrorists. That's not acceptable. It's not a falling out. It's just we don't want to have anything to do with them.
We don't want to have anything to do with Qatar. When Saudi Arabia says we don't want to have anything to do with Qatar, then why are we, quote, partnering with Qatar? Like, it's truly unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And it was Pete Hegseth that 3 days ago, October 10th, this was because the whole news about this partnership with Qatar to have this Qatari airbase at the location in Idaho was just blowing up. He provided some, quote, important clarification. And he says, important clarification. The U.S. military has a long-standing partnership with Qatar, which, why it shouldn't, including today's announced cooperation with F-15Q Qatari aircraft. However, to be clear, Qatar will not have their own base in the United States, nor anything like a base. We control the existing base like we do with all our partners. And it's like, I don't care. This was my response. I was grateful that this blew up a bit, and this got quite noticed. This was my response to Pete Hegseth. I said, with all due respect, sir, I believe that we're making a grave mistake partnering with Qatar. President Trump used to understand that Qatar was a number one funder of terrorism, which they still are. Qatar pours billions of dollars into our Western institutions to promote their death cult of Islam. These are people that are religiously trained to smile to your face and curse you in their heart, just waiting for the right opportunity to stab you in the back. You, sir, are a warrior and a man of honor. You have sworn an oath to protect America from all our enemies, both foreign and domestic. I ask you to please recognize the very real and deadly enemy you're shaking hands with. And I certainly hope that we will. We have to wake up to the reality of this. That Western politicians can be deceived and deceive themselves into thinking that there's now peace in the Middle East. This is going to be a lasting peace, an everlasting peace, an eternal peace. No, it's not. It will not. There will be far more bloodshed. in the future. And my fear is that a tremendous amount of that bloodshed will be in Europe, will be in the UK, will be in Canada, and yes, will be right here in the United States of America, because we are too stupid to acknowledge the reality that Israel acknowledges and knows, that these people are savages. The Islamists are barbarians. And it used to be understood among Christians that tolerance for evil is not a biblical and a Christian virtue. You don't tolerate evil. You don't make peace with evil. You destroy it. And if we don't get back there and get back there soon, then that evil of Islam is going to destroy us.